America has Jeep, Britain has Land Rover, Japan has Land Cruiser, and Russia has the UAZ. A military vehicle designed to take on the vast expanses of the country, the deserts, the scrublands, the Siberian wastelands. This here is considered to be one of the toughest, hardiest, most rugged 4x4s there is. Like many famous machines that appear to have been built to survive the Jurassic Age, the build tough gene runs straight through. Think AK-47 machine gun, T-34 tank, or Vostok rocket. Now everything about this vehicle is born tough, whether it's these doors without the window frames, the way these fenders are put together, I mean, it's hurting my hand, and the manner in which it's been designed. It's so robust, it makes even the hardiest off-roaders feel like they're made of tin foil. The gauge of the metal feels almost twice as thick. And even the design makes it look tough. Now you get the typically round headlight front and this stamped section here. The slats are horizontal rather than vertical as you have on the Jeeps. And this one has a incredibly tough metal bumper, which seems like it's made of a gauge of steel they don't make anymore, and a couple of really sturdy looking hooks here in case you need to drag it out of somewhere. Now around the side, this bonnet has a few vents here. It's really important that you manage the heat of this, especially in a really cold place. The bonnet, as expected, is heavy. But what's unique is that you can open it via two black buttons placed just below. Around the side you have small V-shaped doors that are identical, both front and rear. Around the side, exposed hinges and doors without windows here. This is a military vehicle. And if you come to the rear, you can have a look at two fascinating things. One, the door pockets are in metal. Look at that. Great to keep ammunition cartridges. The floor is corrugated for extra strength. And there are even two facing seats in the back. The body is sat higher on the chassis than any Land Rover or Jeep, and the solid axles seem to have come straight from a 1-ton military truck. And look at the incredible ground clearance here. Around the back, functional, easy. Remember the story about how the Russians didn't make a pen to work in space, just use a pencil? Well, that's exactly the same. Simple, hardy, and of course, tough. Unsurprisingly, it's heavy. Even this open-top version weighs a considerable 1,700 kilos. And that is 700 kilos more than a Jeep CJ3B. The UAZ also comes with twin fuel tanks, one on each side. And you're seated so high, the UAZ comes with a unique step. And the seats are fixed. Even the front seats. Now, many of the things here are not original, but some of them are really fascinating. This here, of course, is to defrost the windscreen. That's a Viper motor, no Viper here for now. A map reading light, a nice stout handle, and the most interesting of all, this speedometer, the original one, in this blue-black color, which the Russians love to put on all their military machines. The insides of this troop carrier, in fact, make a Bolero feel like a Maybach.
Moving forward.
Now Now the driving position isn't ideal at all for me, and it's pretty uncomfortable driving at this angle. But that's just because this seat has been locked in place. Now, as we go over bumpier ground, the UAZ just shows us how much easier it is in this vehicle to go over large obstacles than even something like a Jeep. So as earlier, the overwhelming sense is that this vehicle feels just indestructible. And it is extremely capable off-road. I've just driven over this stretch in our long-term Jimny, so I know what to expect. But the UAZ still surprises me. After driving this thing for around 10 minutes, the first word that comes to mind is unstoppable. It really is, and I've honestly stopped looking for medium-sized rocks or obstacles because this thing is just going over everything. Watch this. There we go. No problem at all. Just go over it. The UAZ in fact has so much clearance, I need to recalibrate how to drive off-road in this thing. On the road, the tall stance and sturdy build give you even more confidence. And it's big. Well, you don't seem to register how big it is from the outside. Once you're seated here, it practically dwarfs everything you pass apart from large commercial vehicles. Size apart, the UAZ drives with all the delicacy of a light truck. Suspension tosses you around on bad roads, the brakes need plenty of attention, and you have to always keep the width in mind. There isn't much power, so it isn't quick, but the replacement Isuzu engine has plenty of torque, and that initially means I just stick it in third and drive. So once you're on the road, it's pretty comfortable to drive, and the elevated driving position does make it feel like you can drive and you can place the car pretty easily. Now these vehicles were used by the armed forces, this one especially the Air Force, and they were used as support vehicles. Made famous around the world by the PUBG game, this off-roader has featured in 6 James Bond movies. In fact, owner and military vehicle enthusiast Sua Stingray says few people know what it actually is. But how did he get his car?
Basically, I bought this vehicle from Air Force Station, Pune.
And does he have just one?
I have totally 3 UAZ 469s and I have 2 UAZ 452 vans. So you can say that I have 5 Russian vehicles in my possession.
Want to drive through a wall and survive? This clearly is the vehicle to do it in. I've never driven something even half as tough.